JSB Talks Digital.
Hello and welcome to JSB Talks Digital, the podcast for marketers, digital transformation champions, and those of you bringing your skills into the digital age. I'm Joanne Sweeney-Burke, and this podcast is brought to you by Digital Training Institute. In this episode, I'm talking about targeting and the role it plays in social media marketing. Coming up in today's show, in social media news, 40% of the world's population is now using social media. Facebook is testing a way to target customers who visited your store, and Facebook attempts to curb cloaking. I interview Facebook ads and targeting expert Antonio Calero from Ad Espresso by Hootsuite. In shoutouts, 3 brilliant targeting case studies. Ask JSB, in JSB's column, Inbound Marketing and Geo-Targeting, and find out what social media tool saved my working week.
Social media news.
The latest social web stats are out. 1 million people are joining a social network every single day. Right now, 40% of the world's population are active on social media. That's a whopping 3.028 billion people. The report was compiled by Hootsuite and We Are Social and published by The Next Web. Mobile users make up a large chunk of the base, with 2.78 billion active users. For marketers, this means that we must be super tuned into social media on mobile and understand how users behave on this device. In terms of the social media leaderboard, it's no surprise that Facebook remains dominant with an estimated 2.047 billion monthly active users. YouTube ranks second with 1.5 billion users. WhatsApp and Messenger, owned by Facebook, were over the billion monthly active users mark, as well as in third and fourth position, respectively. Instagram follows closely behind with roughly 700 million monthly active users. Read the full report on the blog associated with this podcast over at digitaltraining.ie. Did you know Facebook uses 98 personal data points to target ads to you? Now the social media giant is testing a new custom audiences option, which would enable businesses to target ads at people who visited their business premises, with a new store visits option appearing for some advertisers. This really bridges the gap between offline and online, and is especially true of the mobile customer journey. Advertisers will have the potential to target their ads to groups of users who've displayed a clear interest in their products by visiting their business. It could also be used to find users with similar characteristics to expand reach. Staying with Facebook, they're continuing to stamp out spam and fake news with yet another newsfeed algorithm change. I'd actually never heard of a practice called cloaking until now. Cloaking is an advanced spammer tactic. The process uses redirects based on the viewer's IP or other identifiers in order to avoid detection. According to Facebook, spammers will set up web pages so that when a Facebook reviewer clicks a link to check whether it's consistent with their policies, they'll be taken to a different web page than when someone using the Facebook app clicks the same link.
Interview.
In today's show, I'm delighted to be joined from Spain by my good social media friend, Antonio Calero. Antonio is a social media author, speaker, and the head of marketplace services for Ad Espresso by Hootsuite, a software as a service that simplifies optimization and reporting of Facebook and Instagram ads. With a strong background in behavioural marketing and online advertising, Antonio is a regular contributor to industry-leading websites like Social Media Examiner, Razor Social, and John Loomer Digital. And he's also been invited to present at multiple international events. Antonio has been helping businesses achieve their online goals for over 10 years.
JSB Talks Digital.
Antonio Calero, I am so delighted to have you on JSB Talks Digital. We met a couple of years ago in San Diego at Social Media Marketing World. So I should have had you on the show later, but anyway, I'm delighted that you're joining me today from Spain.
Thank you very much, Joan, for having me on your podcast. And it was not actually in San Diego. We met before in Dublin. Don't you remember?
Of course. How can I forget?
Social Media Summit. That's where we met for the first time. And then a few months later in San Diego.
Amazing. My goodness me. Listen, tell my listeners first a little bit about your current career. You're a bit of a social advertising geek.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what happened to me some years ago, like happened to probably most of us and most digital marketing consultants. I was trying to do a lot of things. I was trying to do SEO and Facebook and Twitter. But as you know, Joan, in this world, you need to niche down. You need to get very specific into one area. So month after month, I was focusing more and more on Facebook. Then from Facebook marketing, I focused into Facebook advertising. And I was becoming a Facebook ads consultant. And one day, AdEspresso reached out to me. And they offered me to work for them full-time, not as a consultant, but as an employee. So yeah, that was an important breakthrough point in my career because I was a bit reluctant to work for a company. I was happy as a consultant, but let me tell you, it's been the best decision in my career. I'm so happy in this company. Everything is smooth. It's a great product, great team, really, really happy.
And I have to say that we are moving to AdEspresso for all our Facebook advertising because in my world, time is money and I can spend my life A, B, C, D, E, F testing all I want. But when there's software there to do it more astutely than a human can do it, then I'm certainly jumping over. Now, given all of your knowledge, I'm sure people always ask you about what are the things that I need to do for a successful Facebook ad campaign? But I want to know about what happens when you mess up a Facebook ad campaign.
Well, lots of things could happen. The problem with Facebook ads is that the entry point is quite low. In the old days, if you wanted to run an advertising campaign, mass media or on Google, you needed to rely on an agency and you just have the budget, maybe the creatives, but this agency will do everything. Now it's quite easy for anyone to run Facebook ads, which is a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because yes, prices are more competitive. Anyone could run their own campaigns. But it's a bad thing because sometimes people just read a couple of blog articles. They think they know Facebook ads or they think they know marketing because at the end of the day, Facebook ads is just pure marketing. And they just run campaigns that are not working. And basically what they are doing is they are burning their budgets, not getting results, getting frustrated. And many times what happens is that they give up. They say they blame on Facebook. It's always Facebook's fault. And that's it. So it's good that the entry level is low, but you need to have a basic understanding of how the platform works and how. And it's not required to be a marketing guru, but at least have some basic knowledge of marketing.
And how important is targeting when it comes to social advertising? Because now, more than ever before, Facebook and other platforms have such great aggregated data that we can access and that we can use to serve our exact or precise and our perfect customers with our content. So let's talk a little bit about targeting and how important it is.
Look, the beauty of digital marketing, especially Facebook platform, is that the options of targeting are endless. It was a funny case I came across a few years ago, and there was like two friends, and one friend ran a Facebook ads campaign so hyper-targeted that basically he was targeting his roommate, and he did that as a joke. So basically, the other guy found some ads popping on his newsfeed saying, "Hey, we know that you are John, and we know you're getting engaged with Mary, and you're waiting." And this guy was basically freaking out. And the thing is that then everything came out to the light, but basically was one guy that knew how to use Facebook ads, was hyper-targeting. It was such a specific targeting that basically Facebook was showing the ad only to this particular guy. That's possible. Of course, it's not the best strategy because that was a joke. The reality is if you do that, it will be more expensive. But the options of the targeting are endless. You could target by behaviors. You could target by basic demographics, which is basically age, gender, location. But you could target by advanced demographics.
And how important then is the Facebook pixel, and now we're getting a little bit more technical and we're talking about retargeting. I come across so many businesses and even marketers who aren't aware of the pixel or don't know how to use it.
Basically, Facebook is a piece of script you need to put on your website, in all pages of your website, and that will open endless possibilities. Look, I think we all know what's retargeting. Retargeting means when you go to a website, finding some shoes or some brand, and then you go to a different website and you see ads from the first brand chasing you around all over the internet. And that works because you don't need to break the ice with that client. You don't need to tell them who you are, what's your product, and so on. This client has been on your website. They know exactly who you are, and that's why it works. Now, in order to do this, you need to have some code, some technology in order to understand that. And that's basically what the Facebook Pixel allows. It's a piece of script. You don't need to be a developer. You can just copy-paste this piece of script into your website. And then from that moment on, you could say to Facebook, look, I want to target people who visited the homepage and the product page, but not those who visited the blog, because I want to target those on a different campaign. Or I want to target those who visited the blog, but only on mobile and only in the past 7 days. So as you can see, the possibilities are endless with the Facebook Pixel. It's running Facebook ads. You need really to have the Facebook Pixel in place. It's a must.
And so enter Adespresso a number of years ago to the market and bought by Hootsuite a number of months ago. Now, this is a powerful tool for marketers and for those of us that are, I guess, engaged in advanced campaigns and multiple campaigns. How can Adespresso make a marketer's life easier and get better results for us and our clients?
Look, it's convenience and time savings. One of the keys to make effective online advertising, it's not just Facebook. Could be Twitter, could be Google, it's what it's called A/B testing. A/B testing means creating 2 or more versions of your ad. You have an image of yourself holding a dog and yourself holding a cat. And then you'll see if people relate more with a person holding a dog or holding a cat. And based on that, in real time, because this is digital marketing and you can see results in real time, you could say, okay, people don't relate with cats as much as they relate with dogs. I'm going to stop that ad and put more my money in the ad that is working and so on. So that's basically a theory. Now, in reality, it's much more complex than that because it's not just running 2 ads. It's creating 4, 6, 8 ads and different targetings and so on. If you do that on Facebook, it could take a lot of time. The more A/B testing you run, the more it takes. That's where Adespresso became really, really a powerful tool. And the reason I'm telling you this is not because Adespresso is paying me now. I was really an advocate of the brand before I started working for them. So running one campaign on Facebook, when you need to do, let's say, you need to split test 2 demographics, let's say age and gender, plus then on each of those, you have let's say 4 ads. So you have 4 different targetings, males, females, and 2 different age groups. That would be 4 ad sets. If in each of these 4 ad sets, you have 4 ads, that would be 16 ads. That's a very basic scenario, but still, when you start optimizing, it's getting more confusing. It takes you extra time to create those 16 ads. It takes you extra time to optimize. Now, back to Adespresso, if you do the same thing on Adespresso, it will take you literally probably 20 seconds to create those 16 ads, probably 1 minute to do the optimization and so on. Besides, you can even automatically optimize this campaign for you. You can ask Adespresso to do the automatic optimization, create rules around it, and that's it. So basically, at the end of the day, it's about time savings.
What advice would you give to marketers or even small business owners who are launching Facebook or Instagram ads? Because we know you can cross promote on both those platforms. What things do they need to know about targeting to get their campaign right and to get results?
Look, let's call this the elevator pitch of Facebook advertising. Let's say we have just 20 seconds to tell something very important. Because of the powerful platform that Facebook offers with so many targeting options, or also Adespresso, some people go to the extreme I told before. They go hyper-targeting. They target people visiting my website who are females aged 25 to 26 who live in Galway, who are blonde, and basically they are targeting such a niche that yeah, the chances of having that user converting are much higher because you know exactly who's your buying persona. But the problem is that that's very expensive because for Facebook, it will be harder to find that particular user. And when they find that particular user, they need to ensure that they're not competing advertisers trying to reach the same user, okay? On the other extreme of the spectrum is a spam campaign. Let's say I target everyone in Ireland, males, females, young, old, everyone. Well, that would be very spammy, but it will be very cheap. The chances of getting conversions are very, very low. But look, the campaign is going to be very cheap because for Facebook, it's quite easy to find someone there. The ideal point is something in between those two extremes. Don't go hyper-targeting. Don't go too broad because something in between. So it's good to add some demographics, some interests, some behavior, but if you see that it's getting too specific, evaluate your risks because you may get more conversions, but chances are the costs will be higher as well.
Now, Facebook uses 98 data points to serve us targeted ads and targeted content. They're also moving into a space where they soon will be able to, and they're testing it at the moment, to actually target people who've already visited your store. Is this a game changer in terms of digital marketing where we now are, I guess, filling that gap and that silo between offline and online?
Facebook is like the big brother that knows everything about us. And that's the idea. Look, Facebook's main competitor in the digital space is Google. And Facebook's advertising, I think, is much more robust than Google, but Google has much more data about any of us in the world. And Facebook is probably trying to close the gap and get to that point. Now, Facebook started launching on new products to meet these needs. One of them, for example, is local awareness ads. You could target people in, let's say, 1 mile or 1 kilometer from your store. And then when they click on the ad, you have two options. Either they can call your store, for example, you're a restaurant, they click on the ad and they ring your restaurant and they make a reservation. Or when they click on the ad, that's a very good feature. Facebook will show them a map with the directions to how to reach your store. So that's already bringing that gap closer. The next step is people who are in your store, you could offer them a free Wi-Fi to connect to the internet, but you are tracking all these people already. Say, okay, all these users were in my store because they were using my Wi-Fi. Now I can retarget them in a different campaign. Or so, hey, I know that you've been in my store. Do you know that we have in this week only a 20% off offer? So even if that user visited your store, but then they drove 20 miles away because they live somewhere else, you could still target those people and say, hey, come back to my store this week because we have one offer. And that's actually incredible. Remember, like I said before, of course, it depends on how much specific is that targeting, how many people you have in your target audience. You need to evaluate if that's going to be worth it or not. Maybe it's too expensive, maybe not. But the possibilities are there. Remember the old days when the only chances for advertising was to put an ad on television and cross your fingers expecting it would bring results. Now you can see in real time, you can see how users behave. And like you said before in your question, you can mix online activity with offline real life activity. It's really amazing.
And finally, Antonio, what is your favorite social network? And am I guessing that in terms of advertising, it's Facebook, or do you think that Instagram is coming like a close second?
When we mention Instagram, let's not remember that Instagram is owned by Facebook, same as WhatsApp and many others. And so most of the options available on Facebook for advertising are available on Instagram. In fact, when you run an ad for Instagram, you always run it through Facebook Ads Manager, and the targeting options are pretty much the same. So I think it's still my favorite, but something very important, second elevator pitch, second important thing that people need to remember from this podcast is Facebook is not Google. When people go to Google AdWords, they think, look, Google AdWords are boring, they don't have visuals there, but they're very effective. Well, the reason for that is because people on Google are actively looking for you, for your brand, for your product. They go to Google and they type in pizza place, florist, funeral, whatever, and the first results, they click in. Their mindset is ready to buy something. On Facebook or social media, their mindset is not to look for something. It's to disconnect from reality and connect with friends and family. Now, if your ad pops in their newsfeed and it's relevant to them, they don't mind it and they may click on it. But remember, their mindset is not ready to make a purchase or buying decision straight away. So answering your question, Facebook is really, really powerful. It's still my favorite because all the possibilities. It contains great visuals. But for example, if you really want to have quick results, you want to get quick conversions, maybe you need to consider Google as well. Usually, what I recommend, if you have a good budget, it's do a combination of both. Okay, top of the funnel, have Facebook, create brand awareness, start engaging with the audience, and so on. And then probably have Google as well for people actively looking for you, or for bottom of the funnel.
Antonio, always a pleasure to speak to you. And I always get so much from our conversations. And hopefully we can meet again soon. Maybe San Diego, maybe Spain, maybe Galway. Who knows?
I booked my ticket to San Diego, so if it's not Spain and Galway, I hope to see you in San Diego already. And Joan, it's always a great pleasure to talk to you about social media and about any other thing. I hope your listeners will take something valuable from this podcast.
I'm sure they will. Thanks a million.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Shoutouts.
In this part of the show, I give shout-outs to brands, organisations or individuals whose work online is remarkable and worth talking about. In this week's show, I'm sharing 3 Instagram success stories from some of the top brands using the social network to target their content and their ads perfectly. I'd recommend you study their accounts to see how they engage with their target audiences.
1.
National Geographic has over 80 million followers on Instagram. Their colourful, breathtaking and insightful photos have the wow factor, which are complemented by their magical videos. National Geographic gives us behind-the-scenes, up-close and personal views of the world's people, environment and habitat that frequently get over 500,000 likes.
2.
Sports brands dominate the top spots on Instagram, but Nike uses its brand ambassadors regularly who are famous sports people. With over 73 million followers, Nike just keeps bringing us back to their never gets old tagline, just do it. Even their product posts don't feel salesy.
3.
Boasting almost 57 million followers on Instagram, it's not much of a secret why Victoria's Secrets is in the top 10 brands on the social network. Some might feel that reviewing the Victoria's Secrets Instagram account is like watching the Father Ted episode where he gets lost in the lingerie section of a department store. However, Victoria's Secrets has managed to help us get over the taboo of looking at sexy lingerie, making it accessible. And that's according to media psychologist Dr. Pamela B. Rutledge.
Ask JSB.
Ask JSB brings the voice of my listeners onto the show. So now you have an opportunity to ask me a question and I'll answer it. If you want to hear your voice in the podcast, simply log on to digitaltraininginstitute.ie/askjsb and leave me your voicemail.
Hi Joanne, Marie-Claire from Now Media. Just wanted to ask you one question. What's a custom audience on Facebook? Look forward to your answer. Thank you.
Thanks for your question. A custom audience is a customer list made up of your existing customers. We all know it's easier to sell to an existing customer than to attract a new one. So, on Facebook, you can target ads to the audience you've created, on Instagram, and also through Facebook's audience network. If you have a customer list or data from your site, like purchaser email addresses, you can then upload it to your Ads Manager account. Once you create your custom audience, Facebook will encrypt the data to protect customer relationships. Facebook will then compare your data with theirs to help you find the people you know on Facebook. This is good customer targeting.
JSB's column.
In today's column, I'm looking a little bit deeper into geo-targeting. Around the world, there are billions of people on the internet, all searching for information. Regardless, if you were like most businesses, you rely heavily on local customers. Attracting visitors from around the globe to your business website has really little or no value. What drives your business is your local or regional community. So the real trick to inbound marketing is placing your company front and centre in the minds of those customers most likely to buy from you. There are many online articles describing the basics of how to improve your local ranking on Google. However, these articles often describe how to be one of the few business listings at the top of local search results pages. You are likely familiar with these results. As an example, when a user searches for a solicitor near me, Google will list a few local solicitors based on their relevance, proximity to the user, and their prominence. Google makes use of both online and offline signals to determine the rank of these local results. So, there are going to be times when you are not the closest or the most prominent business, no matter what you do, and there is little you can do to improve these mapped results. So today's column is not so much about improving local SEO, it is more focused on an inbound marketing strategy which employs geo-targeting, the practice of customising marketing and advertising to a specific geographic location. This can be any specific local area, including a town, a region, a country. Using your business website as the centrepiece of this inbound marketing strategy, you can improve your brand awareness, increase customer loyalty, educate potential shoppers, improve relationships with consumers, and even attract more qualified employees. Now, there is one thing you may have noticed missing from the list of potential benefits: increased web traffic. It's great when your inbound marketing results in more click-throughs from search results. However, an inbound marketing strategy which employs geo-targeting is about attracting only the most qualified potential customers and those most likely to buy your products or your services. Inbound marketing for local search targets those individuals which most resemble your ideal customer, which means people living in your local community. When you align your inbound marketing to the right goals, you increase your lead generation by making connections with the right consumers. So, how do you optimize your website for local customers? Here are some ideas. Use customer success stories. Highlight the stories about your happy customers. These stories are not only an opportunity for locally relevant content, but they also show off your product and services. Complementary local companies. Provide positive reviews of non-competing businesses. For example, if you're a roofing company, review other local home improvement and repair companies near you. You could also hijack local news stories. In practice, this is called newsjacking, where you can capitalise on trending local news stories to amplify your marketing. Another tip: harness local events and guides. Not only does every local community have events and attractions, these events and attractions are of interest to your target market. Finally, charities and sponsorship. This is an old-fashioned way of marketing, but people love to support businesses that give back to their local community. Piggybacking off these suggestions, you can easily come up with content ideas that will work for your target. If you would like to talk about inbound marketing tricks to dominate local search or a related topic, then get in touch. Simply drop me an email to joanne@digitaltraining.ie.
Social media tool of the week.
The social media tool that saved my working week this week is Facebook Business Manager. And I'm not alone. 96% of social media marketers consider Facebook the most effective social media advertising platform. If you haven't set up your Facebook Business Manager account yet for your page, then get it done within the next 24 hours. The reasons we love Facebook ads are: Facebook has the largest social network audience, Facebook ads are prominent enough for a lot of people to click, Facebook has the lowest cost per click over any other social advertising platform, and Facebook ads reward you for testing more ads and targets. You can lower the cost by 50% or more with A/B testing. Business Manager allows you to manage your Facebook pages and all related ad accounts. Within Business Manager, you have Facebook Ads Manager, where you can access all of the marketing tools you need to create targeted ads to reach your various audiences. If you are using Facebook as your core marketing channel, then this is one advertising tool that you need to fully understand if you plan on reaching your ideal customer and reaching your goals. At Espresso have a great beginner's guide to Facebook Ads Manager, which you can download on the blog associated with this podcast over at digitaltraining.ie. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of JSB Talks Digital. With 62 episodes under my belt, I'm looking for new show ideas, so please get in touch with your digital marketing and social media questions. To ensure you never miss a show, please subscribe on your smartphone. You'll find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and on SoundCloud. And if you're a regular listener, I'd really love if you could take a few minutes to post a review. As always, I have everything discussed on today's show on my blog at digitaltraining.ie. And in between shows, you can follow JSB's Digital Diaries on social media. You'll find me on Instagram at JSBgrams, on Snapchat at JSB Snaps, and also on Twitter at Tweets by JSB. I'm Joanne Sweeney-Burke. This is JSB Talks Digital. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.
JSB Talks Digital.